Sorry about that. I messed up. I did the wrong image and I don't know how to change it while I'm on live. So, anyways, welcome. Happy Wednesday night. Oh, Heather, I just saw the picture for how they can add hearing aids and a cochlear for crocheting. Is that what it is? That's cool. That's really cool. Desi, the other co-host, will be joining soon. We'll wait and see. But she said would be a few minutes late. And I actually need to respond to my husband because he is not here tonight right now, but he was texting me. Hi, Bueller. I'm happy that you're learning ASL. So yes, this is the Definitely Readers Book Club. We will be discussing chapters 1 to 15 for The Witch Who Trades with Death. Okay, no response. I have a text message. That's really cool. I opened up Discord because I needed to get my notes. I have no idea. I have my cross stitch that I'm doing right here, and I had planned on joining a little bit early, but no. That's really cool. Can you share the book name? I know a few people who would enjoy that. Oh, it just says Essential Aids, but I don't think that's the name of the book. So yes, tonight, okay. Message request. Oh, I will move on to that later. Crochet you. Thank you. Okay. Yes, thank you. Hi, Jetta. This is not where I wanted to put that, but it's fine. Okay. Yeah, that's a good price. So hopefully everyone is good this week. It's been a little bit of a busy week for me. If you saw my TikTok earlier, you maybe not, but my writing group has decided that we were gonna do an almost like nano challenge for February. We were supposed to do it in January for the start of the year, and then none of us we did not have a good month. But this month we're doing most of us have like set a 30,000 goal, like word goal for writing. Some have done, they wanted to do like 15 chapters edited, but most of it is writing. And so last night, like this week's been a little bit busy trying to keep up with the writing goals. Okay, Desi is here now, so I'm going to invite her. And hopefully, yay! It worked the first time! Okay, now I can make this smaller a little bit. There we go.
Hello. It worked. And I said that. I said, it worked the first time. Success. So Heather, our mod reminded me to restart. Okay, thank you. So that, okay. Hey, that works. That's fine. Sorry, I'm a little bit late because my dogs were barking. It's fine. They're going outside. And it's cold. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so welcome. Yes, this is the book for the month. So it is, there are a lot of, in my opinion, complicated names in the book, so I'm going to try my best. Oh, it says Desiree, you're not muted.
Well, sorry.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, so just a reminder like who we are. So this is the Definitely Readers Book Club. We focus on deaf and hard of hearing characters or books that are written by deaf and hard of hearing authors. So I'm KT James. I'm a co-host. I'm hard of hearing, have hearing aids. I normally don't, I don't prefer to wear them, but I will. They're purple. I love them for the color, but on lives, I don't normally have them on. Anyways, I'm simcomming, which is, yeah, I did. I already did before. I left work today. I was just like, done. Simcomming, which is a simultaneous communication, signing and speaking at the same time. It is not ASL. It's more PSC because I'm using signs in English, word order, or grammar. So that, and I will be voice interpreting. And hello. Hi, I'm Desi. This is my sign name. I am deaf. I am a co-host with Carrie. And yes, I typically am voice off and I am voice interpreting for her. Thank you for letting me know that my video was not muted. Typically, I am already off because I make a lot of noise when I am signing. So sometimes I maybe will bother the hearing. But that is deaf culture. Yes. Anyways, so welcome. We're reading The Witch Who Trades with Death. The Witch Who Trades with Death by C.M. Alongi or Alongi. I don't know how you say her name. Is it Longi or Longi? The ending. So anyways, they are here on TikTok and they did the cafe latte videos too, right? Ghee. Okay. Ghee. So we read the first 15 chapters. Say. You saw my message on Discord, right? You asked how do I say, and we're like, I don't know. And I was reading, and sometimes when I'm reading, I'm like to sign. It's like hearing reading out loud. And so I will sign out loud sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I was reading and I was signing it and I was just like fingerspelling the name. That name. Ya Yamueto. Okay. I need to pull it up. I need to pull it on to make sure I'm reading them right. I missed that. So to be honest, I had to keep going back to read it again and read it again for the names to make sure. Okay. But we'll just go ahead. I did like fingerspelling of Kana. Kana. So her name. So she is fingerspelled really smooth. Kana. And she is the main character. There are a few chapters in the book where it is the point of view of a different character. And I didn't realize that. 4. There will be 4 different points of view. Kana is the main one. 3. We had 3. Oh wait, no. I read ahead, I think. Yamuito. I just call him the Emperor. Or Yam. I did not like that character. I hate him. Sava will have a point of view, and I think Nita will have a point of view. Yam. Yeah, he is. Yamito. Okay. I can say it that way. That's fine. So the U is silent. So hold. So with words, especially names or any kind of words, I have issues sometimes pronouncing it because I don't really realize if some letters are silent. Yamweto. The U is silent because Yamueto. Yamweto. Okay. I will say it that way. I have the list up so I can read it. But I do want to, before we really go deep into it, the first 15 chapters, most of them are in the past. So it's a year ago, but the first chapter is not. That is the present. And then it starts 2 through 15 is in the past, and then it goes back to present day. There was a lot of world building, yes, in those chapters. And I will say, the first chapter, it was like, whoa, what is happening? Okay, the first chapter, I was like, whoa, what is happening? It was really fast. It felt like you were immediately immersed in the world. And then it goes back, it kind of pulls you back a little bit, and you see the world building happen with the past. So if you were a little confused about why that's the reason, is because it starts in the present and then you have a few chapters in the past, and then next week we will have the present. And I missed. Yes, so the first chapter was confusing just because you had no idea what was happening, and then is all of a sudden you change back to the past and then you find out. So, Desi, do you want to start describing? Or, sure. I'm going to try to think how to describe without spoilers before we discuss deeply. Do we want to talk about the deaf culture right now in the book, or wait until the chapter it appears in? Maybe wait. Because I feel 50-50 about it. It was interesting. So this book is about an empire. And the male who is the emperor, Yamueto, is immortal. He will live forever. And he found the secret for how he can become immortal. And so he has lived for over 300 years. And it's going forward, and he is trying to control everything. So everything, a lot of it is under his control, and he's searching for a witch that he will marry or bed with them, concubines. That finger spelling. I don't know what the sign is for that. So people are there and they're stuck. They can't leave. They must serve him. And he will not tell the secret to anyone, and he keeps it all to himself. Now, Kana is one of his concubines. She's a witch, and also his 6 times great granddaughter. Okay, I'm just gonna let you sit but she didn't have a choice. It's definitely not choice. There are some who wives who want to be there, ooh, Kokatol. And she's mean. She is awful. She is psycho. She is. But there are some who actually they believe that the emperor will give them, immortal life. And he won't, because he wants to be the only one. But anyway, so the story is about Kana. And it's also about the emperor, Yamueto. I'm going to do this for him. Oh, I could do. I don't know. Required, yeah. So she feels stuck, and she feels like, I need to get out of here. I need to leave. So before that happens, the emperor wants to have a child with her. He's never had a child with her, and she's been there for 6 years. But there's a secret as to why. So her friend has given her birth control, a birth control magic drink every time. And it seems like it's every time that they sleep together, she has to drink it. It's not once a month or whatever. Just have a bath. Yeah, that. And this friend is actually a princess there. It's one of his daughters. Old. She's old. And her name is Sita is the short name, but I don't remember the full name. But anyways, so let's start with chapter 1. Oh, so before we start, so this is like the story is about Kana trying to escape the life and figuring out how they can free the country, the empire, from this tyrant, really. So I feel like that's the goal of this story. And I mean, obviously, you're going to see death in there. Okay. So most importantly, that we can't forget that she is a witch. It is very important because the magic is passed down, is in her genetics, and the emperor wants magical children. And as of yet, he hasn't had one. So he's hoping with her he would. And he uses her to Aji? Is that how you say that word? It means like it's the life force. Is it Aji? Before we continue with how I'm saying it. Yes, okay, perfect. Thank you. I feel like everyone in the family, oh yes, it's all in the family. And like, honestly, so you know how if you have kids with people who are too close in blood, like there are problems, like there's health problems. I'm really curious what kind of problems they have, and honestly, that's probably why they don't have magic. They're not witches, is because that bad genetics. Yes, that Habsburg family. Yes. Okay. So I wonder if there's a sign for that. Life, soul. Yeah. We'll use that. So the Aji. Okay. So I think that is the build up to the point where we're the plot of the story. So now we're on chapter 1. The life soul. Oh, okay. Oh, I would use them. That's true. And there's also some other words like in the story that different like cities or like states use. I'm not going to remember them all, but they mostly mean the same thing. I think one is lifeblood, not life soul. Maybe. They're noted down. I will probably find them in a little bit. Sounds good, Eden. Okay, so chapter 1, it immediately starts with, hey, witch, I need you to come to the house. And so where Kana is living right now is there's 7 old families. So she's living in Gura. And so she has learned how to speak it. She's living there, and there's 7 like old families, like rich families who control the town. One who is elected like the head chief. And so that their family, so there's 7 of them, and they like it. I mean, I don't know like the length of time before they change, but anyways, it's every 7 years. Okay. They pick a new one. But she's called to come to the house, and they're like, we need you to heal our dad. So, grandfather maybe, I can't remember. And like there is, a daughter and a son there, and they said, make him immortal. And she says, I don't know how to do that. She's lying. And they were like, oh, you're lying. But surprisingly, they don't they leave it. And so she goes out and she gets an animal, a yak, I think. And how would you sign that? Like drains? So she drains his aji, and she uses that to heal the old man. And so he will be better for a little bit of time, but he will get worse, and he'll need more and more energy. And I liked that part where it said the more times that you use it, that you what is it? Was it trade? Trade out like death and stay alive, the more you will need. So the more power you use, the more you will need as you continue. So I really liked that part. I felt like it was like building the story. And yes, the first chapter was a lot. Yeah, so you need more and more every year, month, day, and soon, because I think she had been before, and then a few times, but now it was coming more and more and more. And then she also made a comment, never again will I drain the life of a human instead of an animal for an old man, for a rich old man, right? That is the word I think she used. And there you see, so she's done it before. Why did she change? What happened? And that really sets up the story for the background. The witch who trades with death. Yeah. Thank you, Eden. So before we continue, I will say this book will have sign language and deaf character later. It's a side character. It's not a main character. Is that the last of chapter 1? Is that all that really? Oh, no. So she gets back to her place where she lives, and she lives in an inn. That's where she works too. And guards come and they say, we need the witch. And I feel like he's very already, I feel like he's not maybe not best friends, but brother. They feel very comfortable, they're very comfortable with each other. And I really I like Has. I agree. And they found a night. I would say it's not really an animal, it's more of a monster. Would you use that, Desi, you think? So Heather, there's sign names for the characters in the book. Where did you find that? Because hold, we're gonna back up. So someone commented in Discord, and I agree. I said the first there was no knowledge about like deaf culture, deaf community, nothing. So just trigger warnings, and that's fine, but nothing about the deaf sensitivity readers. So nothing like they have sign names or anything, nothing like that. So I'm curious, where did you find that? Oh, if there's sign names, then we can use it probably for the next time. Yeah. That was odd. Okay. So at the end, yeah, so the guard comes in, he's like, come on, come on. And she goes, fine. And they found what? A night creature. I would use, more of like a monster. And she goes, no, it can't be. It can't. Creature. And they said, I need to find out if it is or if it isn't. So she like hurries and is running to it. And yep, it actually is one. And the creature looks like it has horns, a goat and a tiger mixed. It looked awful. And then, so she is worried, and they said he's coming after her. Well, wait, because originally she's like, the chief says that is Yamweto coming here? And she said, well, like they've already won Devarsion. They already they now have that like city, and so the mountains where they live was next. And the chief said, yes, but you're here too. So we know he's chasing, like he's trying to get you. And she says, not really. And is like trying to hide that. Yeah, he's trying to chase her because she unalived his favorite concubine, wife. So yeah, she tries to play it. Oh, it's not me, no. So interestingly enough, I felt like later when I read it and I realized, okay, this is a little bit of a spoiler for in this group of chapters. Saba, like they get pretty close. And I felt like he seemed like really distant from her in the first chapter. And I don't know if it's because they were trying to set it up. I don't know. But that was just a feeling. She does get good at telling half-truths. Yeah. And like avoiding the truth. And then, so white lies. Mm-hmm. So chapter 2, you go back to the past, and it was 1 year ago. So there is a lot of world building and a lot of information, but I did like the explanation about like the city, how the city looks, the town looks, the descriptions, and I thought that was really good. I did note down that the way CM Alongi like writes the descriptive is very well done. So you could really like see what you were reading. But and also at that time we find out that the Emperor Yamato is using her. Like she is stuck. She can't leave. She has to stay there. She has to use the Aji but he did notice she's not doing a lot. Like she's barely using it. And he's like, why? So she's hiding like how powerful she is. I just I lost my train of thought. So she's hiding that, and you find out he's like, I want you in my bed, and like I feel like she's very blank face, like trying to keep everything like not to freak out. Do you want to start with chapter by chapter, or do you want to explain her background a little bit and how she got there? Did you see that Haz's sign name is like Smile? That's cool. Oh, Rick Walliam. So, remember chapter 2 started off with something happening and he is angry, and so he unalives his grandson. No, not just that. It was like an entire family, or like they were trying to rebel or something, and it was like it was like 10 or more people, and they were all his family. And so they used so they did the life force, the Aji from everyone, and then he made them the night creatures. He changed them into the night creatures. And I think Kana was told to accept the Aji. No, he walked around and got all of the Aji. And she explained she could easily breathe, but he had to touch them. Yeah. So there's different ways to drain the Aji. Yeah. He caught her not doing enough, not trying. There's a lot of information. And honestly, I think him catching her doing that made Yamato see her again. And so that's why he was like, oh, I don't have a kid with you. Like, come to my room tonight. Okay. No. Okay. So I remember now. So when he unalived that family, he there's hundreds of witches in the room that were draining the Aji at the same time. Yes. And then they become the night creatures, and then What? Oh, she said she saw 1 or 2 times if someone drains out the life force and puts it back in, they're not the same again. Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 times, yes, back to normal. But most times, no. Well, it's not, you have to use the right words or something, and she doesn't know it. Yeah. Only Yamweto knew how to do it to, like, to bring someone back. So page 2023 said, with such apathy and cruelty on display, how could anyone continue to deny his true nature? That really hit me hard in today's world. I was like, wow, okay, we're not reading about that. And then it's like, okay. And then, yes, so here in chapter 2, we also find out her parents. So wait, Eden asked a question. Well, remember the witches took the aji and they transfer it to Yamweto. Yeah. And he uses that energy, that life force to shape the night creatures. Yes. Or he can give it back and, like, make a person immortal or alive again, all of these different things. Like, he knows how to use it appropriately. So you said Kana before I interrupted you. Sorry. Oh, no, I was just going to do her background. You can explain it if you want or whatever. Sure. So basically, she is from the desert. She is not from Regalian. So she was born, she grew up in the desert with her family, and she didn't know that she was a witch until she was 13. And she found out by accident. And so she was with her family and her friends. Guma. And she was just like, oh, you have to hide it. And so they hid it for as long as they could, for almost a year. And then her family found out, and her parents sold her out. And also, they had her friend, who I think she was her nurse maid, maybe? Lady maid. They also had her unalived for hiding it from the family. So she is sold to, she is sent off into Yamweto, and he's like, oh, we have enough distance in the family blood, like in the bloodline. And so she's been there for 6 years. But Sita, the princess, she gives her and a few other people birth control, because that is that's illegal there. Not impossible, but illegal there. And so she has birth control, and so far she's not had a kid. And then you find out, so the princess, she was a librarian. So we're in chapter 3. So the princess was a librarian, which is awesome because there's all that history. And so she would read as much as possible to try to figure out, like, things. Like, honestly, I think she was probably trying to figure out, like, an escape plan. Well, they were doing researching on immortals. and it was discussing who before had been immortal, why, what happened, and now Yamato is the new immortal. And also, so it's not that he can't be unalived. He can, but he will not die from natural causes. So most of the immortals were like unalived in battle, or like another person unalived them, like that kind of thing. So in chapter 3, I feel like this one was a shorter one. Like it was more about like the library and like the background of the princess, like how she rebelled because the birth control was the only way she could. She never had kids either. And then you find out that Cocotil, the favorite wife, was just like, I need you, Kana, come here. And during the festival, the celebration, they're all together and everything. Kana had to play music. The lute, right? The lute. That's what she played. Jeddah, yes, that was awful. It was awful to read. So she was called to meet with Cocotil, the crazy psycho, yeah, that. And she was in the dungeon and she was scared. She was just like, oh no, what's going on? Something bad has happened. Or she was worried that they found out something, which they did. So, okay, good. Yeah. And so she goes in and she sees her friend in the torture room. And it was very graphic, by the way. Just so Sita was dead. And it was really like heart-wrenching to read that, because she realized it's my fault, because Cocotil, like, she held up I'm using that. She held up the birth control bottle and said, oh, so she was, distributing that to people. That's why Yamato said I could play with her. He didn't care. Ha 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 ha, look. And Kana really kind of like, she like immediately just her like grabbed her Aji and just unalived her. Like, yeah, good job. And then she did try to bring back Sita, but she was just a night creature. Like, she was not really the princess, which was sad. So she gave all that Aji to a cat. But let's back up. When she unalived Cocotil, but you remember what happened? Oh yeah, she cut off her head. But there was a reason behind that. She didn't want Yamato to bring her back. Yeah. So, but I've said that up to that point, she had quick thinking. She was very quick thinking. Okay, I need to grab this bag. And it was very smart with the head, taking the head with her. That is, so Eden said technically, like, after this, like, when she, after she, like, in a later chapter, that the head is there. He could use it again, but I think it was in the river, right? Or maybe not. Because when she jumped, she left the head there because she said it was messed up. She took, no, not after she jumped. So she took it with her at the beginning, like in the place. Yeah, I think she dropped it in the river. Sorry. But it was there, so technically it could come back, but I think it was all messed up. Like there was nothing like right. I think it's in chapter 6. Oh, yeah, chapter 6. She left it in chapter 6. So she brought it with her chapters 4 to 6. Chapter 6. So so 4, she has it, but there was a comment that said, well, they have it back, but it's not till chapter 6. Yeah. Okay. So she realizes, 1, she will get pregnant if she sleeps with Yamato again. 2, she has to leave now. 3, she just unalived his favorite wife. So she has to leave now. And that's what she does. She tries to bring her back. It is not successful. She does change her clothes, so because she was a concubine, she had like nice clothes, but she changed into a servant's clothes. And then she tries to almost makes it out of the gate. And then the bell like starts ringing, and they shut the gate and lock it. And she was so close. So she immediately runs to the temple. Vigirian? I gotta look it up. Vigirian. Sure. Close enough. Okay. Find my notes. To the temple. And this is the same place where Yamato learned how to get immortal life. It's where he learned, and also how to make the night creatures. So while she's hiding, Yamato brings in Cocotil, the body of Cocotil, and puts her on there, and he told the priest I need to put her back. I need to bring her back. And he tried. It was not successful. But that's where she learned how he cheats death. So, and I did like on page 41, it said she didn't truly fully believe in the gods, if they existed, she hated them. So I liked that part. I was like, because if they existed, if they're there, why do they let these things happen? Why did they give him immortal life? Like, why? And then in the next chapter, she finds out that in chapter 5 how they trade with death, and she gets immortal life. And she finds out why Yamweto is how he is, because he's very cruel. He doesn't seem like he takes like pleasure in anything he does. And you find out that that is true. That's the reason why, is because he does not have that piece of his soul now. Hey, I knew it. She had the head with her. Yes. Till chapter 6. Chapter 6, she leaves it. Well, I was like, why was I so confused? I was very confused. So the head with her is there still. The reason why it didn't work when she tried it, or when Yamweto tried it, yes. So he didn't have the head with him. Right, yes. No. The comment has said, well, the head is back now. He could bring her back. But that's chapter 6. That's chapter 6. So, anyway. Yes, so she finds out, I was trying to think about that, sorry. So she finds out how he cheats death, how he got his immortality, and why he acts the way he does. And it's because every time he trades with death, he has to give up something. So for his immortality, he gave up his ability to love and for compassion. And then for the ability to make night creatures, he gave up everything but his passion for conquest. So that's why he is who he is. So, have you talked, so I'm looking at it and see everything you said, but did you talk about how the character of Death is dialogue? No, not yet. I just talked about, we find out in chapter 5 how to trade with death, what happens, how he got immortality and the ability to do that kind of thing. But yes, I loved like the bantering. So when she puts her hand on the table, I need to trade with death. And the room is instantly dark. It's not changed, but it's just mirrored. It's the shadow world, or like a veiled world. It's frozen in time. And she's looking and she's like, who are you? Vigerian. And he's like, chill. He's just chill. He's Death. I like that character. He's very like, oh, this is the first time? Aww. But I was laughing about that. So he goes through who he is. And I really like the writing of how immersive that was when he explained, I am all of these different people. And then he changes his looks for everyone. So it was really cool. And I like that he also explained, like, she goes, why would you trade with Yamato? And he said, it's my job. Like, I have to do that. He asked for it. I have to do it. I don't have to accept if it doesn't fit, like, the criteria of what I need to give you that power. But if it's enough and you ask to trade, then I have to do it. And she goes, okay. Like, kind of accepts that who Yamato is now is because of what he did, and it's not Death's fault. It's not. It's the Emperor's fault for choosing and deciding, I'm going to be an asshole, you know? That is true. That is true. So Eden is right. Death, the god said, he gives warnings like, this is not smart. Are you sure you want to do that? No, I don't think so. And he did warn her, and she was a little bit emotional, but about my friend, I need to trade the life. And he was just like, I don't think you're going to want to do this. And then he finally said, hey, I've collected her soul. She's fine. She is okay. She's more worried about you and the other women. So she goes, okay. Because she changed her mind and her plans. And she goes, okay, I need to get out of here. What will you accept one of my memories? And the one that she gave up, so there was also a comment that said, so there's also a comment that she said, who would she be without her memories? So it was on page 46, that one. And that's really true. Like, if you don't have your actual life, like your memories, if you don't have your experiences, you're not the same person. Like, you won't be. So if she gave up the memories and everything, like the experience, the feeling of the experience of living where she was now, with Yamato there and what had happened, when she saw him again, she wouldn't know, hey, he's not good. Like, don't trust him, because she gave up that memory. So I liked that part. There's a lot of different parts that are really good, like quotes and one-lines. For Death. So Eden is funny. So quoting Wreck-It Ralph, you're a bad guy. That doesn't make you a bad guy. It's funny. So she did give a memory. It was the day where she was, the day of where she was taken, or she gave up the memory of her parents giving her off. She didn't give up the memory of how they treated her before that, or unaliving her friend at the time. So she still knew something bad had happened, but she didn't have the same feelings about her parents as before. Yes, again, she's very smart, and she really considers everything. So chapter 6. So we find out how her friend died and some other things there. So she doesn't remember that day that she left her hometown anymore. She doesn't remember that. but she did remember what her father did. And he unalived her friend, and what her mom said to her. She said, "You should have told us instantly when you knew you had powers. We wouldn't have gone through this." I don't believe that. Also, at the same time, this is where you find out that she jumps to escape. So remember, she has the Aji from the death. And so she has a power, and she is glowing. And she tries to hide, and she escapes. She's running as fast as possible. The energy is making her run really fast. And the guards do see her because they saw the glowing. And then so she jumps over the garden wall, down the cliff. And this is the one place that's really not guarded, like not guarded well, because it is a cliff. Who would actually jump? Right? I guess Kana would. But she survives because she has that Aji that she traded with. And that is when she like tests her memories. And she's like, nope, it's not there. Okay. She does see Cocotil's head, and she's like, oh, that's messed up. It's fine. I'm going to leave it. No one can use it. And then she also, oh, we forgot. So when she was in the dungeon, she gathered all of like the jewelry from Cocotil, and like after she jumps and she's fine, she gets that the jewelry and like tries to get some money to get new clothes and to make her look more like a man, a boy, so she can escape the gate. So the reason why that she collected that money, because they don't have any money there. And yes, like she doesn't carry any money. She's not allowed. So Jetta and Hope. About her parents. Honestly, I think they were saving themselves. So Jetta said, it makes them really sad. Like, what kind of parent would do that? And Hope said that hopefully they wouldn't have turned her in instantly, but tried to save her. The problem is Yamweto has like people terrified. And so they don't want to rebel because he'll just drain their life force and make them a night creature, right? And so the desert was already like, it's been 100 years since they were free. And so they knew, okay, like we don't actually have a free life. Like, you're a witch. You have to go to Yamato now. Like, maybe they would have tried to save her, but honestly, I don't think so. Because I think they just wanted to save themselves. And what kind of parent would do that? A bad one? So if I was her parents, I would have hidden it. I mean, they lived in the desert. It was way over there. They didn't know about her until she said, hey, we have a witch here. And then they sent her off, yeah. You would think so, yes, but the way that it's written, I don't think. I don't think it would have happened. So she jumps and she survives. She is fine, but she is tired. She is exhausted. She doesn't have any energy anymore. So she was using the aji. It is now gone because it was just temporary. So after she falls off, what happens is she goes and her lute broke, which is really sad. Yeah. And she leaves the head for Crocodile. And then she gets the jewelry, and yeah, she gets a knife, and she separates it to go get some money so that she can walk and leave the city. Mm-hmm. And this is where, okay, so where she's going, she realizes, so she's she's sitting and she's thinking, considering, like, how can I actually escape? Like, if I go to the water, to the ship, they will find me. If I go to the desert, they will find me. So she's trying to figure out the best way to not be found immediately. So she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the mountains, to the Gura, and see if I can go through the mountains. So first she has to get like a guide to get her to the place, like through the jungle, and then we'll have to get another one later. But so that's like when she makes the decision of where she's going to go. And then the next chapter is actually Yamweto's chapter. So it's a different point of view. Yeah. Yes, because other people have already tried to escape and gotten caught on the boats. You're right. So went south. Yes. So I feel like there was a comment in the book where, in this point of view, where he says, he was the master of death himself. So what chance does any mere mortal have? And that was Yamweto saying that. And I'm like, you're not a god. You're not. You're immortal. That doesn't mean you're a god who has, like, all the power. Like, no. And I'm thinking, is this setting up for him to fail later? So I guess we'll see. But I'm curious your thoughts about, like, just how, like, cocky, cocky, big, yeah, cocky he is. He is that. Like, my first thought was, okay, cocky. Yes, and then he does talk about everyone wants to be immortal. She's like, no, I just want to survive. I want to be free to survive. I don't want to be immortal. Oh, immortal. And this is where the guards tell him, hey, she was yeah. We were thinking the same thing. Oh, well, she was glowing, and he's like, go see. What? And he was angry. And then so they went and go and find her. And then he was like, is she still there? The cliff at the bottom? No, there's no one there. There's the head of Kokoto. And he was like, that, it said, like, Now he's worried and he felt fear. I was like, okay. Yes. And then he said, find her. I will unalive one every day until you find her. Well, I'm sure he could just bring in more. It's true. So chapter 8, actually I didn't realize that I already said some of it was because I already said that, you know, she got money to get clothes and then was able to escape. And I thought that was in chapter 7, but it was not, or 6. Yeah, she cut her hair off. So she looked like more like a boy. It was very short. So we forgot to mention something important, how she is able to keep going. She got Aju from the trees. This is the first time it's really like talked about, like it's really shown. Because you knew it could. I think it said it before in chapter 1, but here was the first time that it said that she was using, you know, the Aji to keep going and to have some energy because of what happened when she was 13. Yeah. So she stepped on a cactus. Oh, I can use the tree maybe. Yeah, that's true. So she uses that to keep going. And it was funny, like she sees a poison dart frog. So someone in Discord said, mentioned about the frog is on, it's on the book. So, and it's on the map too. Lala did. I was just like, oh, it's a poison frog. And she escaped, and I was just like, I thought it was a little bit odd why she was scared of it. She had never seen one before. She had only read about it. Oh, that's a spoiler. No, I have not yet, but I could spoil. I'm thinking, my thought is, they haven't mentioned all of the family animals yet. Maybe it's that one. No. It is important later. That's all I will say. Okay. Oh, hi, Sadie. My dog. Let me see. Let me see. There you go. So she is going through the forest for 2 months, and she hired a guide to help her walk through and navigate to the mountains. What's the sign name? The sign? The city name. Hang on, it's complicated. Oh, I didn't write it down. It starts with a P. I know it starts Pahuda? I didn't write it down. I wrote the chief's name and other names, but I didn't write that one. It does start with a P. Pahuda. Yeah, she is going around, and she was there, and she was like, I want to go over here. And she wants to continue to go more, to go to the tundra. But he was just like, no, I can't guide. So he guided her like through the mountains to Pahuda, and where the Gura live. That's the people there. So she made the decision to stay and find some work to get some money so she can pay for a new guide through the tundra. I did like on page 60, it says she was a dirty, tattered mess after walking through an empire, a kingdom at war, and then the mountains. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You are. And it is mentioned, they're like, oh, you're not pretty enough for the brothel or for, other kinds of work there. And then actually later, like the next chapter, it said, oh, you were hired because you're pretty. And she was like, no, I wasn't. And then she got worried about it. But before that, there was a time like she went and she was talking with the women there that work at the brothel, and she was like, maybe I can try if I do it for myself for money and I'm making the decision, maybe. And then she immediately like panicked and no, I can't do that. Like the memories are still here, like no. And I like that she knew like herself and that she felt like she was like, no, I'm gonna do any other work. Oh, maybe the other women were jealous. You're right. Because it was, and I don't know if it's because she was dirty that they thought maybe she was not pretty, or it was her hair. I don't know. But it seemed like they were saying, you're not pretty. And then like soon after that, at the end, they said, oh, the old man, he hired you because you're pretty. Hi, Millie. Hi, Millie. Hi, Millie. Hi, Millie. Hi, Millie. I liked him. Hi, Millie. And he is very fair. He is very, okay. He's very straightforward with the rules and everything. And also he has a prosthetic leg. And his son has. And they start her to work with Haz's grandmother. Called Mimi. Yeah, Amati is her name. And she's, so we have in this town, we have the Gura, who are the native people in this city, right? And then also you have refugees who are the Regwalian. I'm not sure if I said that right. I looked at the spelling. And family. I like the whole in family. Yeah, me too. So that family is really nice. So they're half and half and they're probably treated differently. because you find out, like, as you're continuing in these chapters, that the people from the Empire are not always treated well. Like, some are like mocked. They're mocked. They're mocked. Some are like, they're hurt. Like, some are ignored, and that's fine. But you find out that his grandmother, she is Regalian, and so she's speaking to her in that, and she was like, oh, she was okay. Like, she didn't really say anything at first. Like, she was sewing and fixing things, and she was like, she made no comment about her work, and she just accepted, okay, I'm good. And then she went to serve in the inn for dinner. I did like this, like, just this fact that the teas are different. It was like so specific. Like, the teas are different. Here, they're sharp and bitter. And then in Regalian, they're very subtle. They're really delicate. So I liked that you had the differences. Yes, so Eden is correct. Amati is the grandmother. That's all I know. I thought it was Haimili's mom, but I could be wrong. But yes, so both the dad and the son, they look Gura, which probably helps. Oh, mom's mom. Oh, okay. That might be why she's different. Also, people noticed she was new and they were just looking over her. And after she sews, she was just like, it's time for you to work in the restaurant, the inn there. And so she goes down and she's serving. And she was surprised just to see people were just chatting and laughing, and like they're behaving. They didn't make her feel bad or feel like there was no one trying to touch her. Oh, that was also something different that was discussed. So in that place, there, you don't touch people who you don't have family will touch, or like if you have like permission, not opportunity, permission. If they tell them you can touch me, it's fine. In the mountain, they are all like friendly and like they're touching each other, like no one cares. And she was just like, but no one tried to touch her. And then they said, oh, you were hired because you have a pretty face. And she started to panic just a little bit because she was like, what will I have to do to keep this job? And then you meet Saba. He's from the Wolf family, which is one of the old families, like the rich old families we talked about, one of the 7. And right now his mom is the chief. She's the chief. So yeah, Jeddah, it would be a different experience. And it was shocking. So Saba was in the first chapter. It was like the last 2 pages. It was where the night creature was. And that's why I was a little bit shocked. I was like, oh, here he's very, very friendly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think he was the archer. Yes. So he was the hunter, right? He was the archer. So that was working and everything. It was done. It was finished. And she sits down with Haz and Sava. And he earned his winnings from the money from gambling. And he gave it as the tips. But she does find out that every time he comes and visits there, because he comes to hang out and learn how to speak Regalian, since he is, Gurin. But he's really friendly, and he comes and he just gives all the money from the tips to share from the dad, Hamili and Haz and Kana. Oh, also, she does sing there. They ask if she knows any songs, and so she does. She sings, and so that was cool. Yeah, so she was surprised that she got some of the money. She was just like, she knew she would like earn the tips. I think more for this part was, this was his like winnings, not, she was just not used to niceness, yeah, to kindness. She's not used to seeing people satisfied and laughing, and she's not used to waitressing or being oh yeah, so the wealthy being friendly with everyone. So why is he here? Why is he like, he's like a prince, isn't he? He's here all the time. He's just learning and hanging out with people. And she goes, oh, yeah. Yes. So I'm the same way. I have my night comfort read. It's like a reread that I do. So I have that one like when I'm like ready to go to bed. Like I normally will read a few chapters of whatever book I'm rereading. I'm trying to finish it. I've started it. This one. I have a few that I'm working on too, but I have my notes up so I can make sure that we're talking about the right things. And then I also did read ahead, so I'm trying not to spoil things. But yes, she has been treated very cruelly all her life, like all her life. There was a part at the end that said, she was safe, period, for now, period. And I was like, oh, is that, foreshadowing? So there's a few things. I have a few things that I want, that I think we've missed. So Has told her, so we mentioned it earlier, that this area that they're in now, the empire, the kingdom owns, but they run it themselves. The Gurren run it themselves. They govern themselves, and they do whatever rules. The Diva not Regalian. Regalian. Yeah. So Has said, Arcana said, "Oh, you have a kingdom. You have a kingdom protection, but also you have freedom. So you have the protection of the kingdom, but freedom." And so she was shocked about that. And then after that, they were walking outside and they ran into his ex. Yeah, this is funny. And he immediately changed. Like he was not friendly, and then he was just like straight faced. And he also seemed like, don't touch me. Like, so anyways, go on. So she was bad news. And she was like, hey, Hass. And like flirty. And he was just like, no. And so Kana, I said, she was a good buddy, and steered him away from her. Yeah. I liked that she after they left, I was like Bayana. Excuse me. After they left, and she goes, "Oh, I was just playing the woe is me. I'm ignorant and I'm helpless. I can't do it. I don't know what's happening. I'm new here." And I thought that was funny. Oh, and this is where we see her magic back in action again. So before, she was trying to hide it in the city because she didn't know if they would give her back to Yamweto. So she was not using her Aji for really anything that could be noticed. But and then what happened is one of the soldiers, she was watching the soldiers, like them training, and she was just watching them. And she saw one, like, he left to go fix something, his spear, I think. I think so, because it broke his spear. And two other soldiers, like, followed after him, and they started beating him and hurting him. And so she saw it happen, and I think she had like a panic attack, because like she just froze. She's like, stay silent, don't talk, don't, like, she did what she would do in Regalian, like with with Yamato, right? Like she was. Anyway, and then they unalive him, and so she uses cows, right? Is that what she used? Oh, she used a goat. She used a goat's Aji to save him, because he wasn't fully unalived. He was just really hurt. Almost. Good. And then she was just like, shh, don't tell anyone. And then she looked back and, she got caught. They caught her. So she was brought to the chief, and this is in chapter 12. So she had to face all 7 of the leaders, and they asked her, what happened? And she goes, honestly? And she was like, easy enough. Like, that's, easy enough. Okay. So she told the truth, what happened, what she saw. And this is where we see Sign for the first time. And Saba is actually signing for it was called a Baral woman. I don't know who that is, but he was signing he was interpreting what was happening. And at the same time, the guard who brought her to the chief was interpreting from Gurren to Regalian, so she could understand. So we see sign language for the very first time. And the soldiers who hurt Zopal, I think that's how you say his name, they're punished. And then also she will have to pay for the goat. All 3 of them will have to, both the soldiers who hurt the man, and she will, since she used the life of the goat for the Aji. And they ask her, like, why are you here? Why did you leave the, regalian? Like, why did you leave? Why are you here? And they go, oh, well, witches are revered. Not praised, but like revered, maybe. Respected, revered. I didn't write it down, what you're talking about. Yes, so 2 of the 7 leaders want to send her back. And then, I'll wait for Desi. She said, we are not revered, but we're respected, yes. They believe we are from gods or chosen by gods, and so we are ordered to attend the empire. No matter how, no matter what our opinions are of him. Yeah, the emperor. They are not, but the leaders think that they are. Like the leaders say, well, you're a witch, like you're respected there. No, we are not. And she also said, we must help make the night creatures or we will be changed. We are only able to watch and guard the movements. We are forced to sleep with the emperor and all of this thing. So she goes into like detail. Well, she doesn't want to, and she just basically, where she can't stop, and then finally she stops herself from like telling everything. And then they were like, oh, just send her back. And she was like, if you're gonna send me back, please, like, unalive me first. I don't want to live if I have to go back. And that immediately, like, what? Good night, Eden. Good night. She says chapter 12. Yep, she was sleeping. So you actually see the chief. Her name is Framenka. You see her, she walks up and she actually speaks Regalian. And she says, if I let my son, Sava, like, shoot you, will you stay or will I have to, like, tie you up? And Sava is like, no, Mom. No. Like, he panics a little bit. And then she says, Kana says, is he a true, like, is he good? And she says, yes, he's the best. And she goes, I will stay. You do not have to tie me up. I do not want to go back. And then immediately after that, it says, like, here, being a witch is not a crime. I was like, that's good. Teacher. So chapter 13, we're almost done. So this is a different point of view. This is Nita, and this was the soldier from that was interpreting and who had brought her to the chief. So Nita goes and meets a male who hurt kind of like that kind of healed, and she said, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need like insurance? I don't have anything that, or medicine. I don't have anything that I can afford. And she goes, here you go. And she sends him with some medicine. And honestly, I'm not sure like how it didn't feel like this chapter was really important, but at the same time, I think it sets it up for later. Because this chapter, so Nita had already complained about the soldiers that hurt Zoful, right? She had already warned them. I knew this would happen. She had already told them, like told her managers, the people, the people above her, and they were just like ignoring because she's the daughter of the mistress and not the wife. And so her dad is old family, but she's not, because she's not the wife's daughter. And so they don't listen to her. And so she goes to him and she's like if you promote me, I can help. And he's like, no, you need to earn it. And she's like, I've been here anyways, the point is he still ignores her. She says, if you don't fix it at the start, like where it's happening is going to keep happening, like every time it will happen again, right? And they're like, oh no, they're fine. And it said, being right left a sour taste in my mouth. We also learn that this is, she taught Sava sign language. Why? Because she knew sign language, and it's very common language. So this is where I was going to mention this part is world building. But in the book, 1 in 30 become deaf in their later years. 1 in 20 are born deaf. Oh, 1 in 30. I'm backwards. 1 in 20 become deaf, and 1 in 30 are born deaf. And so sign language is like the second language of the town and is very commonly used. Which, if it's commonly used, is it only, why did he not know it already, right? Why is there not more sign language? Yes, that was my question. I thought that maybe, I don't know, what are your thoughts about that? Because she's been there for a month, 2 months maybe, and she's not seen it before. She did say they do speak other languages, but she didn't say what. She just said Gurren, that she's learning Gurra language. Mm-hmm. So she speaks Regalian, and then she didn't say what other language she was learning, so I guess it counts, but it would have been nice to have known. And then she sees people signing, and she's like, oh, okay. And we also see the character of Aticha. Aticha, I think, is how you say it. And they sign. They're not deaf, but they're mute, and they always have a scarf on. Yeah, they have a scarf. Oh, that's right. And they are lovers. Aticha. Yeah, Aticha. And I like that the end, Aticha tells them, be safe, and if not safe, destroy. And I was like, okay, that's cool, sure. What? What does that mean? What will happen next? I don't know. Okay, so there were some consequences after people found out that she was a witch. So she stopped going out to the shops. She stayed in the inn and just worked. She was very isolated. Like, she was mocked. Like, all of this kind of stuff. She was called Deathbringer, Soul Sucker, all of those ones. But has like kept like making jokes like, can you do this with magic? Can you do that with magic? Can you wash dishes? Can you go faster? And she's like, no. And he goes, what good is magic? He's funny. Like, I feel like he's a good like relief. Like, not really just like comedic, but he does lighten things up. Yeah. So that mocking and everything got really bad, and Haz's dad moved her in the kitchen to work. And we find out that Sava has not come back to the inn and for 3 weeks, and she said that hurt the most. And then he does come back finally, and he says that, my mom, the chief, she didn't want me to seem like we favor you. But whatever. So so she brings him tea. They sit and they're just chatting. He tells her about like the archers, and she tells them like how she learned she was a witch and the story about Guma. It was very heart-wrenching, yeah. And he was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, and understood. And then we see the first time a person asks her for help as a witch. I need you. Someone burst open the door. Our baby was being born recently, and the woman needs help. She's dying. Yeah. So she became the unofficial witch. And you find out something I feel like is important. She's using some of her life force to heal. So she's using her soul to heal other people. And it said, like, look, so she's asked death to trade a few times to keep the people there. And she noticed one time that her colorful like spirit was duller than the last time. The light was not quite as bright. And so, and it said, like, if you sell too much, it will take a toll. Yeah. Also, she never asked people to pay her. She just went ahead and helped, and they will either not pay her or will offer her food or something that Hi Millie needs. And it felt like I think she was trying to not fix herself, but it's where like she knew what she did was wrong in the past, like when she was working made to work out with Yamweto, right? Like, I feel like she's trying to pay for that by like not making other people pay now. Penance. Thank you. Penance. And then the first night creature came. Right after has told her the Yamweto will never come through the mountain. Never. Knock on wood. And then the rumors started, and she started hearing things, and the Free Kingdom division collapsed, and they're under Yamweto's control. Oh, we forgot. One of Yamweto's grandsons or whatever, Antalo, yeah, he was told to go get that place, like to win. And before that, he tried to basically hurt Kana. So, oh, and the point of view for chapter 15, for the last one for tonight, is Yamweto. So you see Antalo again. Yay. He finds out Kana is alive because they say, oh, well, the mountains has a witch now. What? Who? Why? There was a spy. Someone told him. She was atoning. Yeah. So, because they were going to wait before they went to the mountains because it was winter time. And then he found out that Kana was alive and there, and he's like, no, now, we're going to leave now. Yeah. So, that's it for now. But my predictions, what I think is going to happen. I think he will use Sita to her. Bring her back? No. Not bring her back, but use her again as a night creature. Oh. And then maybe try to bring back Cocotil again, if he can find the head. Well, he already has the head. He got it in chapter 6. It was messed up. It was destroyed, but he got it, technically. So I think he's going to have both and then send the army of night creatures with both. And then she goes, oh, my friend. I don't know. That's what I think. It's a very important character. Maybe dies. A very important character maybe dies. What do you guys think? Me? Well, I already know. Yeah. No, I already finished it. Yeah, I finished it all. Yeah. So again, like, after the first few chapters, I was just like really immersed. And so I kept reading. I wanted to read more, but I was just like, no, stop. I did not add my notes, so I'm going to read it again to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I did finish it. So I can't tell you my foreshadowing because I already know what will happen. What does everyone else think? And Heather can't because she already knows. So I have a question. It's not a spoiler, but do you think we'll see more of signing of the deaf? More deaf or just mute? Atisha. Yes. More. Yay. Yes. So compared to the last book, I feel like this is more involved. Like, I feel more immersed in the story, and I enjoyed it more. What do you mean? I want more signing. I want more signing, but yeah, I feel like I'm enjoying reading this one more than the other one. So it's really good. It didn't really have romance. It will. Maybe Kana and Saba. She already is drooling for him, yeah. Ooh, okay. So, yes, so there's a few deafies in the government, and then little signs, just. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for tonight on chapters like discussions. If we forgot anything you want to mention, just let us know. I did read everyone's comments. Not yesterday's. So if you put notes down before, I read them. But so this again is The Witch Who Trades with Death by C.M. Alongi. And we're reading chapters 16 to 37 next week. So this is the longer one I think we will be reading. I think it's like 18 chapters. But I feel like it went fast. That's my personal opinion. It is harder though to take notes, and you can't go as fast. But if you're just reading it, you can. So this is, again, this book. I do like that too. So the comment is really like how sign language just exists. It's not a journey to like try to find it or learn it. It's just there. It's there. You see it. They talk about it like normal. It's just a normal, everyday kind of thing. I agree. But, so, this is where we're at. So, if you saw the post, we have finished January for the Definitely Readers Book Challenge for 2026. So, we've already finished the ASL on the page. You can follow with us because we'll be doing it throughout the year. So if you're in the book club and you do the challenge, you will automatically get your name in the drawing, in the cup to be drawn for them. We will be picking 3 winners to get some Definitely Readers merch or things from the Signs and Stories shop. If you've not seen the challenge post yet, if you're joining late, that's fine. You can still do it. It's just reading basically 12 books this year. And you get extras if you watch a documentary or you learn 10 signs or 10 signs. What was the third one? Was it the interpreter story? If you read one. And I know that Desi and I already have some books on our list that we are planning to probably use for the months. There's a few books, if you've not seen them yet, that recently released that have deaf characters or are written by a deaf and hard of hearing author. So we have A.C. Nightingale, hard of hearing author, who released in January the Daisy chain collapse. J.D. Mills recently, February 1st, released their second book, and they're a hard of hearing author. We should not have come here. Thank you. And then a hearing author, Ree Neal, released yesterday Space for Saffron. And that has a hard of hearing character who has a Baha. And they actually already have a like series of middle children's books, middle grade. Well, she said that this was the first middle grade. Well, I feel like they're the same. Okay. And they're called Astrid, who she has hearing aids. And I think there's 4 books with that, right? 4 or 5. Anyways, released a new book that has a hard of hearing character. So this one, the new one, has 2 moms. And it also, it has 2 mom representation. It also has, I think it has mental health representation too. Oh, that's funny. Sorry, Hope. It is late. Yeah. I don't think we're forgetting anything. Could be wrong. Oh, okay. So Astrid is younger. Saffron is more like 10, 12, I feel like. So it's an older middle grade. Okay. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird because like young adult could mean 13 through 18, right? But a 13-year-old should not really be reading what an 18 is reading. So. Oh, I'm sorry, Hope. Hopefully everything's okay. Excuse me. Depends on the kid. Sure. I think that's all that we, the book challenge, book release, book list, I think it's fine. Do you want a funny really fast? So, oh no, I can't. Oh, there it is. So I'm working on new stickers, right? I'm working on some new stickers. And before, I accidentally made mini stickers instead of 2 inches. I did like 1 maybe. So you know, this one. Well, I think I made it too big. So anyway, I was just laughing at myself because I can't get the size right, guys. But like, I think it's perfect. The bigger one is perfect, yeah. But I have like this one. And I have like a little reed. have that in a bookmark too. I made a bigger, the the book one that I also messed up, the champ. Yeah, so like the slang words. And then I have this one. It's in my deaf awareness era, but it just has and then I can't decide. This one will get bigger. I'll make it bigger. I have two different girls. So I don't know which one I like better. That's true. That's true. But I was just, when I made it, I was just like, wait, that's really big. When I was like, I looked at the small one and I was like, oh, it's just funny. Anyway, and then I thought we have these little ones, these little minis. Maybe. And then so my son really wanted me to make an I really love you cross stitch, which I just finished, and then he said he wanted a sticker. So yes, that, the one with on the yeah. So I love this one. This was my favorite. This one. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. I think it's hard to see. And this one is from the bookmark, but I thought this one was cute. So anyways, and then I did a happy reading. It's the happy reading. So, and then we'll have more bookmarks too soon. My printer ran out of ink, so I have to replace it. So yeah, I was printing these at home. I was testing them out to make sure that they will work okay. So that, but yeah, so I will get some printed and then decide on the size, make sure, okay, it's good. So I like the big one. Okay, well, thank you. I felt like it was too big, but maybe not. I mean, you can use the tiny one for like, oh, yeah, I used it. Yeah. So, and it is the same size as like my previous, like this is pretty much the same size. Like it's, so. Sorry, I got distracted. I was looking at it and I was like, maybe I'll get some opinions now. Yeah. So I do like my little, like, I really love you. That's my favorite, I think, right now. And then this one. And I did it in a color. Oh, I forgot about that one. I did it in a color. But I don't know. I feel like the black looks better. Yeah, the black pops out more. But I did do it technically because I was gonna try to do it for Valentine's Day and I just didn't get it done. And then we have one more chapter. Yeah, so this was the original. I need to make that one holographic, I think. I want it that, but I've not had time yet. So, anyways. Heather said the pink one needs to be a darker shade on the pages. Okay. I mean, I can change it. I liked the pink because I thought that like with, loving books, like maybe having it the pink and the red like color, not red. I'm not a big red person. But yeah, when I printed it, I realized, that's not the right color. So, anyways. Okay. Now I'm just like purple for the pages. That's true. I can do that. That would be good. Yeah, purple's one of my colors, so yeah. Yeah, it was hard to see, but I did like the black, but wanted a color option too. So I think this is my new favorite. The big stack of slang books. So okay. I guess we'll say goodnight for tonight. Yes. Desi says she's tired. Are you awake? Are you awake? You okay? Kind of. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. I have a long day tomorrow too. I think Desi's about to fall asleep on us. Yeah. I'm not gonna fall asleep, it's just more like resting. And now we're done, we're talking, so like now I can sit back and just chill. I probably will cross stitch for a little bit of time before I go to sleep. I mean, I don't know. I just have a long day tomorrow. It's my oldest has a program thing at school, and so we have to go to that tomorrow night. We have parent teacher conference tomorrow. It's student led, so my son will be doing the talking about what he's learned and that kind of thing. Nice. There's a comment. Simon said they recently got their first hearing aids. Awesome. How do you like them? Now I'm tired. I sat back. Yeah. That's why you see me leaning forward so that I'm not sitting back. I think my computer just tried to join my iPad to share the screen. I didn't know that was possible. Okay, well, I'm gonna go, and everyone have a good night. But I'm excited to discuss next week. We'll see what happens. Good night. Good night. Happy reading. Enjoy your day, your weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. And you can chat with us on Discord if you want. Good night. Bye.